some backwards audio. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe my next guest here for show 113 of the Yet Come On podcast has enough connections to get me to be able to play Thunder. Loved walked in the door. You never know. He's in the music business. I'm Southside Steve, your host of the Yet Come On show. That's Brett Barney, my co-host, and our special guest, not just a guest, not just somebody famous, but a personal friend, my buddy, Emmanuel Lewis. How are you doing?
Hey. How are
Look at that. I've realized in show business, and, I've had these people, Breckenmeyer, even John Travolta, that have called me, contacted me, I have relationships with, but nothing comes close. Nothing tops. You are my absolute best celebrity friend. I get to call you a friend. Then comes, believe it or not, there's you, and then Otis Nixon, and then everybody else falls into place. But y'all are my two boys for sure, my Atlanta boys.
Oh, always crew now, we got love for So and we were just talking about Brett, we was talking about my guy Michael Tucker, so he's one of the crew. It's a small handful of us diehard guys from way back when, but for sure I'm happy and proud to be considered a friend. So I appreciate
More than that. And I got to tell you, there's a part of me that hates you right now because you look fantastic. Your skin's good. I don't see any wrinkles. You're not aging, you son of a. You look great. Brett looks like he's aging, and he's like 20.
I'm losing
years
hair.
Old. I know.
I found a hair in my ear the other day.
Yeah, that tells you you're getting old. But Manny, you're looking good.
Not the hair in the ears.
That's horrible.
Dude, I thought it was on the side of my head. Then I pulled it. And my ear came with it. And it was like an inch.
Just start mowing the lawn in dark socks and sandals. You're done. You're done.
Oh, my God. You guys are hilarious.
Yeah. But, having you on is just something we haven't talked in a while. You've been up to things. But just to circle back, again, Emmanuel Lewis, best known as Webster. And it's so funny. I was talking to a girl today, and she's 32 years old. And she goes, what's Webster? I'm like, how do you not know? It just kills me, man. My wife didn't know who Donnie and Marie Osmond were, but she knew who you were. It's just wow. I got 22 years between my wife and I. So, I've got two kids, Manny. I'm 56 with an 18-month-old.
I love it. I think I'll just follow in your footsteps. I have to wait a few years just to even get started. I think that's it works for whoever it works for.
Yeah, but what a lot of people don't know is I've been married before in a fun way, but it was a real wedding. I had to get an annulment. Emmanuel was my best man when I got married.
I remember that.
I did Married by Atlanta, which was a follow-up Married by America. And we were there, and the audience picked the girls. There were like 15 girls willing to marry me. And we got married. And then you were my best man. And then you took us in your limo, and we went to the Bear in Buckhead and threw darts till like 2 a.m. And then I looked, and I'm like, this girl, I guess, is coming home with me. And I took her home, and she lived with me for about 3 weeks until we got divorced.
Are you serious? I always thought you were kidding. I didn't know you was for real.
For real. Came home, didn't leave my house for 3 weeks. We went shopping together. We did things together. We were legitimately giving it a chance. And her father loved me and was hoping it would work out. And then at Music Midtown, she got a little crazy that night. And that was the reason for the divorce. She was swinging on a rope and not wearing undergarments and in a mini skirt. And I'm like, yeah, you can't be doing that as my wife. So that was my excuse.
Was that in public or in private?
In public.
Ooh.
Only a few people saw it. We were side stage, and that night we had Journey on our stage, and I got to introduce them. And so I'm all psyched. And then I heard, "Hey, I think your wife's drunk," and I'm like, and she was drunk, and she just wasn't. She was fun, but not a good drunk. She acted up. You saw that she was a little childish. So I was like, I just don't know if this is going to work out. So we called it quits, and we would run into each other from time to time, but she lived with me for 3 weeks. And in the divorce, she got free furniture from a sponsor. She got gas cards for the divorce. She got some discounts at other stores. She got to keep the ring. So there were a lot of cool things that she got from doing it.
Dude, I promise you, when you said, dude, she's still at my house, I just bust out laughing. I thought you were.
She wasn't leaving. She goes,
I thought you were joking. I did not take you serious.
No, I lived with her for 3 weeks. I was married for 3 weeks.
Dude, I've never heard of a prize closet divorce.
That's exactly what it was.
Exactly what that sounds like.
Oh, and she got a rental car for like a year. She got to drive a vehicle for a year. So it was like she got things in a divorce. So she really profited. But, I think there was a part of both of us that kind of liked each other. It would have been weird had we stayed together. But, it kind of worked out. And I had you as my best man. I'm like, my God, I think that's why I let her stay an extra week. I'm like, well, I had Emmanuel Lewis as my best man. That's pretty cool. And he drove me around. And if I ever needed a limo, I'm like, hey, Manny, because he owned a limo service for a while there.
I did. That was my college gig, They always say that, college kids, they work while they're in college. And I thought, well, what am I going to do while I'm working in college? And I said, well, I do have 2 limos and I have a white Rolls Royce. I might as well put those things to work. And I couldn't see myself working for anybody. So I just figured I would make it happen while I was at Clark. So, that was fun for me. I enjoyed it very much.
And what a cool school. Clark. That's cool. You went to Clark.
Yeah.
I don't think I even knew that. Tell everyone. So just for those that don't know, when you were on Webster, what were the years on the show? I'm trying to remember the years. I don't know.
We started Webster in 83, finished in 89. Those were some dope, awesome years. I got a chance to meet Donnie Marie and the brothers in those years in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah.
I think we did
home of the Mormons.
Stadium of Fire. It was so dope, but I didn't know what to expect. Those guys are like workaholics. I love how spontaneous that they are. They are a musical family for real. We had got in, I think one of the brothers picked me up. We went straight to the music studio, banged out, some songs and medley on what we need to do. And we were doing the parade the next day of that medley that I had to learn that night. So I'm like, okay, yeah, these guys are the real deal.
Isn't it crazy? And you as a talent, you ran across some of the most incredible talent of our time. Your window was so perfect. I was graduating high school in 83. Brett, were you born yet?
I was born in 89.
Okay, not your fault. Not your fault. Not your fault when your parents had sex. But Emmanuel was a little dude. He was like what, 8, 9 years old? How old were you? That
was when I graduated high school and I did my first semester of college in 89.
There you go. So you look at those early years. I think the most significant thing that you're most remembered for was that music. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was the music awards where you came in with Michael Jackson and Brooke Shields.
That was dope. It's really fun and wild. And I remember those moments, bits and pieces of those moments, because it's always a lot going on. I remember, gosh, there's so much stuff running through my brains right now, but I remember leaving the Grammy underneath my seat for one of them. Not knowing exactly. I had never been to the American Music Awards or the Grammys. I had really never even watched it on TV at that time. Like, you know what I mean? So gotcha. I really didn't know anything about a lot of that stuff at the time. But, it's Mike, it's one of these events. I did a lot of different of his events, but, just kind of behind the scenes and not necessarily coming out for front while he's doing things, giving checks or, whatever he was doing, concerts, whatever. So I'm used to being around and not trying to necessarily, be in front of the camera. I was in the camera 5 days out of the week. I could hide from it for at least 1 or 2 days for the week. So I was fine with that, right?
No, I get it.
I look at those pictures that's all over the internet right now of that these photographers took, and I see this look on my face because I didn't know the difference between Michael's photographer and the paparazzi. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, there's always a camera in my face. Like it's like I remember there's a thing of the jet. We had I was trying to, he's starving. You know how those award shows are. They like 3-4 hours, 5-6 hours, whatever.
They're long. People don't realize how long they are and all the cuts.
No idea how long. Yeah. I was starving. I couldn't wait. I finally get a sandwich in my hand. Click, clink, click, clink. I'm like, for real? Like,
as you're eating?
I'm like, I got the camera. I'm trying to pull it down I'm bringing it down. And I'm looking at them like, for real? Like,
can a brother have a sub? Can I get a
sandwich?
Can you let me have a sandwich? I just
Can I get a sandwich?
No, they don't care.
No, that's the photographical moment of you and Michael and you trying to eat a sandwich. We need that. And I'm like, I'm just, the look on my face is not necessarily a pleasant one.
No. The
look on my face says a whole lot of words that a kid that age could not say. But it was not pleasant.
No, that's funny. And I know the story, like you knew Brooke Shields. Michael didn't know you knew Brooke Shields.
Right.
And just that, and everybody's like, oh my God, Michael's on a date with Brooke Shields. It was like, oh my God. And Brooke Shields, a lot of people don't realize she lived a very, kind of her mother took care of her, kept her safe. I think she was still a virgin until she was 22 years old. That's out now. And she was just well guarded, well protected. She's so attractive. She does that movie where, she's half dressed. And the mom was like, I'm not letting Hollywood take my girl the way it took the Coreys. And you too, I think were pretty protected from some of the harshness of Hollywood, which is great.
Very much. My mom, she wasn't, all she knew is that her baby boy was going to be protected at all costs. And those moments, I cherish because she didn't give a damn about the money. She didn't give a damn about this or that. All she could think was that that's my baby boy and I'll be damned.
No, I know.
Watch.
I know.
That was her thought process. On my watch, I'll be damned. That was her thoughts. Like never in a million years. All of this. But my boy, I'm gonna make sure he's gonna be good and safe. And so, she allowed me to do different things, but at the same time, she had a hawk eye. She knew me better than I knew myself. If there's a problem, she was already swooping in before I could say anything. Like, her ears were like bionic. Like her vision was like, 3D or, through X-ray walls. I'm like, the things that my mom said and did to make sure that the industry wasn't going to claim me is literally amazing.
No, and you're lucky because the industry claimed a lot of people, and and I will tell you, Brett, Emmanuel lived in Fayetteville. He has. Do you still own that house? Do y'all still have that house?
Yes.
All right. So he had the house in Fayetteville. It's well off the road. Has a man-made lake, circle driveway, the whole thing. But Emmanuel's mom was so sweet to me, and I introduced myself. I came by, and then you'd catch a man, and I'm pretty sure it was your grandfather. He'd just be hanging out on the porch, chilling. And your sisters went to school with my brothers, and it was just a normal guy, but he was always doing his thing. And you got into production, a lot of music stuff. I knew that. But in Atlanta, Emmanuel and I was in with the Braves the year they won the World Series. I was friends with a lot of the guys. We'd be on the field. He and I both would be on the field just talking, and I'm like, what are we doing? Here the game's about 20 minutes of starting, and we're walking around like Hollywood on the field, and I'm just hanging out with Manny. And then we probably the greatest moment. And I know it sounds a little shameless, but there's so many things we've done. We've celebrated our birthday. That meant a lot to me at the Hard Rock. We had a band playing. We're there. John Rocker shows up, and we're blowing out our cake and our candles, and because we're both Pisces.
That's right.
And then one of the coolest moments I think for us was the Centennial Park bombing The night of the bombing, I was there and I was walking towards the stage about 400 feet away when the bomb went off. And I thought it was just lame pyrotechnics because this band had been playing every single night. Wow. And the girl I was with is like, I think that was a bomb. And within 20, 30 seconds, people are running past us. Then I realized, oh my God. And out of nowhere, you saw dudes with M16s. It's like the park was full and they're ushering everybody out, you know, and you see people hurt. So I broadcast till like 3 a.m. live on 96 Rock. But then when we reopened the park with our morning show, Emmanuel and I were together. We're broadcasting from the House of Blues on the fire escape where we can oversee everything. So we go into the park. Manny's holding my 96 Rock flag. Here comes Jesse Jackson with like 3 deep cameras, CNN, whoever else is on him, Fox, local news. And he grabs and picks Manny up and he's talking to him on national television on all news stations. And Manny's holding my 96 Rock flag. And I'm like, home run. I got a career now. Home run. Radio is now on TV. I'm like, yes. Now, no camera turned on moi. I'm no big deal, but my boy's got my mic flag. And I'm like, and he's in the arms of Jesse. And we're opening a park after a bombing. Bam. You know,
and you came in and brought you in so you could ask Jesse some questions, and I gave you back your mic.
He did. He brought me in, and I got to ask Jesse Jackson on national
you
television.
Were live. You were live.
I was live
at that time. That was bananas. That was crazy. I'll never forget that because you know none of that is what we were expecting. You know what I mean?
No.
It was just we were just going with the flow. But what I didn't tell you was the night before when the bomb actually happened. Well, not the night when they reopened.
About 5 days, 4 days prior.
When it happened, I was trying to get in the park. So I was looking for a parking space. So I was literally right on the side of the road and we heard the bomb. I was waiting for my brother. And had I found a parking space, I'd have been in the park.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, where were you in the park? And nobody knew any of that was going on. And it's just a crazy story, you know, and the fact that you and I were both a part of that. And that's probably, I'll be honest with you, that's another reason I cherish our friendship. That's probably my most defining moment or one of my more cooler moments. That and sitting in every seat in the Omni before they blew it up. I sat in every seat. Those 2 moments are my best moments. That's my career right there.
I remember that.
That hurt like hell. Don't sit in chairs. Not 19,000 of them. Don't do it. It hurts.
You got up.
Hey, can I
just like?
Yeah, can I throw something out there, Emmanuel? Before Steve got on, what were the 2 things that I said he was going to discuss with you that we always bring you up on the show? Braves and Centennial Olympic Park bombing. Was I not spot on?
But these are like huge moments. Like that was when Jesse came to open up that park. He literally, because he got there before anybody else did. And when he came in, we were already standing inside, but nobody else was there, right? Just
we were. Yeah, you're right.
And you and I were standing there, and we had just came off the patio, whatever, and then we turned around, and when Jesse came, he opened the park. Like we might have been in the park, but he opened the park. You know what I mean? And from right there, he held his press conference.
Right in the middle of the park. He's exactly right. He stood right there, and Manny was with him through most of the speech. He was right there, and he called him out. Jesse saw him. And it's like, Emmanuel, you know, and grabbed him. Jesse went to Emmanuel. We weren't doing anything. And next thing I'm like, go. Don't worry about me. Go. And the fact I was, and the fact that Manny held onto my flag, I'm like, okay. And everybody knows a mic flag is just the radio station logo on a microphone. Every news station does it. But here you are throwing on a rock station. And it was at probably the most, you know, one of the more pivotal moments in our country. You know, it's right up there. I mean, there's a few moments where you're like, where badness is hit. You got Pearl Harbor, you got 9/11, top 10 somewhere in there, Centennial Olympic Park. It's
that was a big thing because the Olympics, and they were guarding the water tower really seriously back then. Remember that?
Yeah.
We had everybody in the park at that time. FBI, the like all of them, GBI, like every 2-letter, 3-letter organization was somewhere in the midst there, trying to make sure that if there was something to go on, plainclothes people would turn around and all of a sudden they flipping their jacket around and now the only thing you see is letters and letters.
And Emmanuel and I flip coins are like, okay, if something goes down, we're both going to hit the ground, and who's going to lay on who? Somebody's got to cover somebody. I lost the coin flip, so I was going to have to lay on Emmanuel to protect him.
That's crazy.
I was hoping he'd have to lay on me. Who saved you? Emmanuel Lewis. He laid on me, took a bullet in the butt for me.
He's crazy, dude.
No, but that was good. So those are just
many,
some of the big moments.
I mean, those are the ones that was like, I mean, that was crazy moment. And I knew that, in the midst of all of that, to be on every station in America.
Yeah. And you were.
That was live on every NBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, like on every station. Everybody was looking at Jesse and opening the park. And here's the,
us.
Southside Steve.
Southside Steve and Webster. What are y'all doing?
It was probably every station in the world.
Flag with the mic, just getting it all in.
I went to my boss. I'm like, whatever raise you want to give me, it won't be enough, but do your best. Do your best. And here we are. And at that point, I think it was in my second year of radio being paid. And now I'm in my 26th. So, you and I got about 25 years together. And,
wow.
One thing I wanted to have you on, and we call it like a cigarette break. And before we go to commercial break, I just want to talk about quickly, because I want to give Brett, I know he's got some questions for you. I just wanted you to talk about what you've been doing, whatever you want to mention, what you're into, and and what you're up to right now. And I know one cool thing, if people want you to talk to them or do a nice intro for them for Christmas, I know you're doing something cool there too.
Absolutely. So we're doing the Cameo right now. So I don't know if you follow me on IG, it's I am Emmanuel Lewis on IG. I think the same thing for Facebook, and the real _ Lewis on Twitter. And that's where I think under my biography or whatever is, direct hitting me on Cameo, or you can just go to Cameo and look me up or whatever. And we're doing, greetings to people, specifically to them and their family, and, great motivation and great all kinds of things that we talk about that's, relevant to their particular family and their life and their friends. So, it's always fun to do stuff like that and enjoy, because I love, coming and greeting people, live and in person. So how else do you, be able to reach out and touch people around the globe? And so that was one unique way that they were able to do that. So I thought that was very fun and very timely.
Yeah, check him out on Cameo. Not a nicer guy in the world. And what a great, if you grew up in the 80s, my gosh, you watch Webster. Even if you grew up in the 70s, you were watching Webster. It was just a great, great show. And again, before we break, you looked at the husband and wife that you were on the show with, married in real life, former NFL football great. Moments on that. Yeah, they had to have been so cool. And you look at, if you go back and watch episodes of Webster, it's awesome. But, you showed your acting ability and you could dance. I remember, doing a couple little tuxedos with your cane and a few other little things that you've done, which is funny as hell. But what was it like, the grind? Because rarely do people understand when they see those sitcoms and stuff, were there a lot of takes, live studio audience? Give us an idea of what it was like filming, and you walking into that crazy world.
It was it's great education. It's a great way of life. I enjoyed it. My time doing it. There's so much. I mean, again, I was so young. And I really had no idea what life was. So if you give me a TV show and tell me this is what I'm going to be doing, 5 days out of the week, okay, that's life for me. You know what I mean? That's the only life I knew. You know what I mean? So it was it's very cool, but it's very demanding. And the show was, enjoyable to do, but that wasn't all that I did. We did a lot of USO tours with Bob Hope back in the day. So we did a lot of stuff like that. We did a lot of live shows. We did the inauguration for Ronald Reagan, actually two of them. On
by the
stage,
way, that's huge. I remember the inauguration with Ronald Reagan. By the way, to me personally, I loved that guy as president. You talk about an awesome dude, and he's Hollywood, but the fact
he
that
was he was one of us, as far as the entertainer, and everybody had stories. So Lyle, who worked on Paramount, rest in peace, Lyle would, always have these stories about him. And so he had made arrangements for me to come and visit the White House.
Oh.
And that was my first trip, going to visit the White House. And, we got there in the afternoon and we got to go see the White House. It was closed for the day. President was in his private, studies, a private, section of the house or whatever. And I got a chance to go and sit in the seat, the White House. And I got a chance to go visit all areas of the Oval Office or whatever. And I just didn't want to pick up. They said, don't pick up the red phone. Don't pick up the red phone.
Hello?
Right? So, we did all that, and, I was looking around and sitting at the Resolute desk, which was, pretty, amazing. We didn't even have like a professional camera. So all that I was able to do at those moments, there might be pictures somewhere, but I never got them. But I wasn't even thinking about that. It was literally me soaking it in the moment. You know what I mean? Like whatever else, the White House, and then, then you begin to, as I got older, understand so much more details about that, because I didn't really know about John Jr. going down through the door and opening it. You know what I mean? Because I would have done that had I realized that then. You know what I mean? And opening up the door on the under the desk. And then you think about how, the Queen of England has the exact same. So all these things you look at in the future, and you look at other movies and you look at all the stuff, I'm like, man, I was right there. You know what I mean? It was just so much great stuff. The tapes and the audio that got Nixon is right there above, you know what I mean? And like, I didn't know that then, but having been there, I know where all of that was. Okay, this is the bathroom over there, the secretaries, you open that door and the secretary's over there. This goes to the other entrance. This goes to the closet. This goes to the park. Like, I remember what all of that stuff was. And it was really cool to check that out. I got a chance to hang out with him, of course, and the First Lady. We came back from many different stuff, like the Easter, stuff, and all these different, but it was just such a great part of history of learning how it got burnt down and then it got built back up by the Native Americans and all this other stuff going on. And like, so much history I've learned from being in Canada and them telling us, what went on at the White House and what treaties and all that stuff with my Native Aboriginal friends over there. So as you get older, there's so much more history that's more rich of the things that I'm able to see, not just at the White House, but just around the world. And then you kind of understand, wow, all the stuff that I was able to do. And, understanding as I get older, the significance is like amazing.
Well, everybody wanted a piece of you. You were so iconic. You were so recognizable. And you walked on stage or came out, instant applause by everyone. Everyone wanted to talk to you, be around you, touch you. I mean, there was they did. I remember it year 20 years before I ever met you. I knew when I met you the first time how cool that was. And I was like, I was way excited. I'm like, oh, this is great. I can't believe I'm around Webster. But when you look at your whole career, and I think most people listening or watching this podcast would want to know, when you have relationships like you did with so many Hollywood stars, and you've got obviously the Michael Jackson relationship, and then you've got a President Reagan, is there any story or anyone that just really impressed you, that you were like, I am totally around greatness, that you're like, because I'm a celebrity, I have now met greatness. This person is the best at what they do, or I'm blown away at what they can do?
I've had that moment a few times, and
That's cool.
just when you think you've seen it all, or that it's not going to it can't get any better from that moment, and then something else happens and you enjoy the heck out of it. So all right, so meeting Michael while he was doing Thriller, okay, enough said. I don't even need to say any more about that. Okay? Meeting him while he's shooting Thriller. Okay, that's like on the Mount Rushmore of things to do, especially where it is today. While you're doing it, you don't really understand the significance of what it's going to be, because you don't see the rest of it. I just saw that moment when I was there, but seeing the history of that and the records and all of that, that's dope. Okay, meeting Stevie Wonder with Michael, and hanging out with Lionel Richie. I mean, like, Commodores? Are you crazy? Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Meeting Earth, Wind and Fire. That's what? Going and hanging out at Sammy Davis Jr. house. Okay, Sammy, when I was a kid, he was my personal bar. He was my personal it. Like, I wanted out of all the entertainers out in the universe, Sammy meant more to me than anyone, because he started when he was like, what, 2, 3 years old, with his uncles or whatever, and father, and with the trio. And okay, he could play instrument, he could sing, damn, dance, like, you know what I'm saying? He could lead a band, he could do comedy. Like, he was like, he had the it factor in abundance. You know what I mean? Not knowing all his history of, how much he toured, and, all of the different things, or how it took for him to get there. But, as he graduated through life, and, like, to me, I don't know anyone that had more talent than him, the way I grew up. And on top of that, my mom would take us to the African-American library in Harlem. And we would get the microfiche and all this other stuff that they had to go look him up back then. And that, learning his story and all of this stuff. So when I got a chance to meet him, I have to be very professional. I can't geek out that I'm meeting my idol.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I geeked out when I met you. There's a few people I geeked out. You just lose it. You're like,
because he was so cool, though. No, he was so cool. And I was like, oh my God, like, this is bananas. And I got a chance to perform with him, which is another geeked out moment. On one of his stages in Vegas, on an episode of a show I created. I didn't get credit for it, but I created it because the whole show was a bucket list of everything I ever wanted to do. I got a chance to dance with Debbie Allen. I got a chance to hang out and play with Siegfried and Rory, and the White Tiger Cubs. Of course, the whole thing with
would later bite them. Thank God you didn't get bit. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, at that time it was just like they owned the whole city block.
Yeah, they
still do. In Vegas, and they played with the animals like every day. They swam with it in the pool. Like, this is before all the Hollywood stars did it. They're the actual OGs that made it popular to play with wild animals. They are the OGs. Nobody did it before them.
That's
like
funny.
Like that.
Well, Tyson would later own not one but two tigers, and then he'd have to get rid of them. A lot of people don't know that some girl jumped the fence and lost her arm, and he had to sell his tigers. You know, I mean, it happens. It's real. That's awesome. Awesome stories. I do want to take a quick break and come back. I've got one good question for you, and then I'm going to turn Brett Barney, my co-host, loose with a few questions. It is Emmanuel Lewis on show 113 of the Yeah Come On Show, brought to you by Oxygen Financial with Ted Jenkins for all your financial needs. Circle285.com, along with Ridgeline Counseling. That's Dr. David Markwell. We love Dave. You're going through something, call Dave. He'll Zoom you or see you in person. And lastly, Joe Bees. That's right, bee pollen. I highly suggest you take it. We've got a deal. We'll be right back on the Yeah Come On Show.
Yeah, come on.
I'm Allison with Circle 285 Insurance, and we've got you covered at every turn. Whether ITP or OTP, the only TP we care about is total protection for your family. Have you ever wondered if you're paying too much for home and auto insurance? Do you have enough coverage, and will your carrier pay your claim in an accident? Visit us at circle285.com for a free quote today. Visit circle285.com or call me, Allison, at 770-904-9586 for a free quote today.
I'm David Markwell with Ridgeline Counseling. The current situation we're in is bringing all kinds of issues into our lives, everything from stress and anxiety to frustration, bouts of depression and loneliness. Well, we're here to help at Ridgeline Counseling. You can reach us at 770-993-9700, or you can email us at ridgelinecounseling@gmail.com. Currently, we're offering telemental services through video and phone platforms and in-person office visits. In the meantime, stay safe. We'll get through this. Yeah, come on.
Special thanks to all of our sponsors of the Yeah Come On Show. Our newest sponsor, Joe Bees, bee pollen, 100%, not made in a laboratory. It's straight from nature, one ingredient, bee pollen. It can help you with inflammation. It can help you as far as being awake and alert, and it can kill seasonal allergies where you don't have to take eye drops, nasal sprays, or whatever pill you're popping. Special deal right now, just to let you know, and that's the deal you're going to get through me. Go to joebees.com, joebees.com. Southside Santa here is giving you an 8th month. Joe gives you a 7th month for free, $99 for 6 months. So what are you getting? You're getting 8 months for $99. Put it in somebody you care about stocking. Don't ask for the deal. There's not a deal. The phone screener won't know about the deal. All you have to do is have a Georgia mailing address, and you'll get 8 months supply for 6 months. That's it. No questions asked. Back with Emmanuel Lewis here on the Yeah Come On Show. We were talking briefly during our commercial break. I did not know there's 2 shows that everybody loved back in the day, and I think we're back to back. And it's like everybody went on the Love Boat, or you went on Fantasy Island if you were famous. Did you do either one of those?
I did the Love Boat.
Love Boat. Love won't hurt anymore.
That was
That's
so dope to me. First of all, I loved him anyway because his brother was a DJ who always did DJ'd our parties. So if you remember the bartender.
Yeah. What was his name? Why am I blank? I got Captain Stubing, who I got to meet in real life. He's the only person on Love Boat I ever met.
All of them were so loving and so wonderful. And, you know,
Gopher and the doctor. And what was the DJ? What was the bartender's name? I almost had it. Not Oscar. Not, what was his name? You can remember? Nobody can remember? He was cool too. Way cool.
Yes.
It'll hit me. Pull it up, Brett. Pull it up.
Brett, come on.
This is what you do, sir.
This
Ted?
is what you do.
Wait, that's the actor, Theodore Lang.
All right. Theodore. What was his name, though, is on the Love Boat?
We call him Ted Lang.
Ted Lang. I like it.
Okay, he's also a great doctor. I mean, a great a director.
I did not know he did directing. Is he still with us? Is he passed on, or is he still with us?
I think he's still with us.
I know. Isn't that a shame? You don't know.
Isaac Washington.
Isaac. Boom. There we go. Now we remember. I remember Isaac.
That's the name of his character. Anyway, I had great fun with him. The lady who played my mom was, I think, the mom from Fresh Prince.
Oh,
Well,
the
she
first
became
one or the second one?
the mom, the mom, not Aunt Viv, but the
Oh.
mom.
Oh, the mom, like his
yeah.
mom that sent him away.
Right. Yeah.
Got it.
So that was who my mom was in that show. And it was really wild because, you know, Ted, we had always a great friendship, and we always did a lot of stuff. We was on the same network, so we always did a lot of promo stuff. And so he would always mess with me and tease me. Well, here we are. We're doing the most dramatic scene of this particular episode. And I'm supposed to be crying, losing it, or whatever. But outside of camera, he's making goofy faces to me. You know what I mean?
You're like, stop. I got to be sad. I got to be sad. They're like, stop.
You know, he's doing all of that, right? And I'm doing my best. Like, she's holding me. So I have to look a certain way because that's where the camera is. And I cannot keep a straight face because he's back there. And she's like, he's so unprofessional. I'm like, but this guy over here is, he's over here making faces over here. How am I supposed to,
cry?
Do my job, you know what I mean? But she never saw him. She just saw, she's like, so she went over to my mom. I never told the story. She went over to my mom and she was like, I think he might have to go to acting school, or, he's not being very professional. And she was like, my mom could see what was happening because she was, behind the camera. So she saw all of what was going on. She didn't see that. All she knew was that I was hard for me to keep a straight face. And she didn't know that Ted was messing with me. So she really kind of tried to plow into me. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm just going to go back to my set.
Wow. See, there is heat on the set sometimes with different people.
It wasn't her. I mean, but at that moment she was just upset because we had to do so many takes. But Ted,
like, what else you got to do? We're on the Love Boat. Get over it, okay? All right, we're fine. We're on the Love Boat.
It was fun, and it was really hard for me to take the moment that I was there. I was just so excited to be there. You know what I mean?
Of course. I mean, that's huge. I
was so excited to be there, and I was really hoping we were doing it on a set. But I forgot, as an actor, they do this stuff on sound stages, Manny, like everybody else.
Yeah.
But if I was going to be on that cruise. I thought we was gonna be.
I'm going out to sea, and they're like, "No, you're going."
I just knew he was doing that.
You're going to Studio B. You're going to Studio B. That's where you're going. Speaking of,
I went to the studio right down the street for Paramount, and it was
all good.
And
well, tell me when you film Webster, and I want to know the lot you were on. Real quick, tell us the shows around you that were filming, the people you were having lunch with.
Oh my God, it was so dope. Okay, so the original sound stage, I think it was 19 that we were on. Behind us was Family Ties with Michael J. Fox, Tina Yothers, and that group. On the next sound stage beyond us, going north, was Cheers. Okay. And that was dope. And they always had usually a closed set, but I always snuck in to go check them out, see what they're doing. Straight on forward used to be Solid Gold, and then it turned into Arsenio Hall. Okay, to my going south was the I Love Lucy. They had like a little goldfish pond. Then they had Joni Love Chachi, and then on to the left of that was Happy Days. Wow. And when I got there, Ron Howard was directing some most of those episodes, and I came in and I saw the Fonz, and I damn near crap my britches. I just like, oh my God,
it's a Fonz.
I'm like, dude,
did you give him this? Like, what's up?
I'm like, all I wanted was 2 thumbs up. That's all I needed was from him. You know what I mean? And with the white T-shirt and we were all TV junkies, you know what I mean, at that time. So
that's cool.
Let's see. Across the way was PB Playhouse. We had Star Trek.
Stay away from him, by the way. No, I don't want you around
it was
Pee-wee.
So much fun back then. This is before everybody knew. So it was all love at that time.
Before we knew he was Mr. Creepy. Okay, gotcha.
They had just finished not long ago, Laverne and Shirley.
Okay.
So we saw their blocks of where the stoops and stuff, all of that was. And they had Bronx Tale, and they shot some of the scenes from Golden Child on my set.
Wow.
Webster. So when I was watching the movie, I'm like, that's the Webster living room. That's the Webster kitchen. I'm like, this is, I would have, it was so dope. I enjoyed it very much. But so many different stuff was going on there. Tom Cruise, TV, movies. Oh my goodness. So much stuff. I can't even remember all of them, but I definitely can remember the people. So you go into lunch and Worf, with the full costume, from those guys, were there. And so I just thought, wow, this is just crazy. This is when you're in Hollywood for sure.
Yes.
Hollywood.
Was it hard for you coming back to like on the South Side to Fayetteville and all of that? You're like, y'all just don't know what I've seen or what I've done. You've always seemed extremely humble about it to me. You'll talk about it if asked, but you don't throw a lot out, and you were such a part of the fabric, definitely to me, one of the greatest decades to grow up in was the 80s. Music and everything. It was just fun. The 80s were about fun. 90s, you got in a little bit of like, I'm just not happy with my life. I'm not going to wash my sweater and my hair's greasy. I kind of hate on that a little bit. But the decade you were a part of, your career was so much fun. I mean,
I've had so much fun. You know what? Unless I'm asked about it, I really don't think about it.
No, because you're a forward mover, and just so people know, you're a forward thinker. You're always in, yeah.
And one of the things that I'm interested in, what's going around, the family, the house, the business, and different aspects of which business, and the next trips, and all the details that's got to be done next. So I'm always thinking about that. The past is rich and great moments, and hanging out with Frank Sinatra, and hanging out with Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight and Smokey Robinson, having Dinah Ross pass you the mic to sing the song, like we've done the stuff with the Apollo, with Bill Cosby. I've done commercials with him with the Jello pudding, but when he hosted that Apollo, and it was like a night of George Michael and Smokey and like Luther and like Night of 100 Stars. There's so many things. It's like being on a freeway right now in my head, and you see all these different clips, moments of the stuff, but all of that is fun and dandy. And it's very interesting.
Is there a book? Is there a book in your future?
They've always talked about that, but I don't even know where to begin, to be honest.
You'd have to start day one, bro. What it's like, when you decided acting, going in,
dude, it would
Webster.
Be way long. It needs to have a direction. We did so much, guy. Like literally. I mean, we stayed in Japan for months, touring all over Japan. I mean, I talk about those. Here's the thing. I talk about moments. It seems like it was a moment, but literally the span of time is a lot longer. So when I talk about it, we like the day we had, we'll talk about it and we encapsulate it like in one or two little moments. That was all morning for us.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. Yeah.
That was all. That was from like early morning, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, all the way until the afternoon. But when you and I talk about it, it sounds like it's like this long. Right. And that's what my whole life is like, literally my life. And there are a lot of moments, and I don't even know how to do that. So one day, if I if I can remember it, number one, and number two, if I can make it have a purpose for why people should read it.
Well, if I ever write a book, you're going to be an entire chapter. But if you write a book, I need at least a page and a half with Southside Steve. Damn it, you give me a page. You give me a page. I'll give you a chapter. You give me a page, and we are good. It is Emmanuel Lewis to a lot of people, at least if you're in the 80s, if you participated, if you lived and breathed and watched TV on a box, not a flat screen, you remember Webster. It is the Come On Show 113, and I want to turn it over real quick to my co-host, Brett Barney. I know you've got some questions for Emmanuel Lewis.
Brett!
Oh, for sure. I've been writing a couple as we went. So you were talking.
Sorry, we get caught up. We carry on a little bit. So
to be honest, this is a fly on the wall situation for me, and I'm absolutely loving it. That's why I have not unmuted my mic, and I'm over here laughing. I was wiping off tears earlier. I was laughing so damn hard. But this is not as funny, I guess. You were talking earlier about the White House visit, and you're saying, these moments over months caught into these tiny clips and just kind of soaking in the moment, not knowing if there's a picture or anything that could go with it. Do you think that has become a thing of the past now with celebrities or anybody that goes anywhere? Because there's always pictures. There's always, social media. Do you think people really soak in the moment?
At that time, it was, we didn't think camera first. Camera phones wasn't even invented until 20 years later. So that's, you literally had to have a camera. And those times when you were getting in the White House, you couldn't have any device. That wasn't acceptable, then, to have electronic device. You're getting screened a few times to get there. Although I don't remember getting screened that much, to be honest. But I was a kid and we had the green light from the main guy. So they brought us, they were the one who got us from where we were staying in and then brought us directly where we were going. So it was their guys that was handling all the logistics. So, I do have a picture of me and Nancy, I think, Reagan, and I think I have a picture of Bush Sr. And I have some, I have some pictures, but I don't have that moment particularly that I was talking about being in the Oval Office. I didn't have that picture, but
that's because you were soaking it in. I feel like that's not going to happen ever again.
It was. Well, it's been redecorated, so it will never recapture that moment. But it was all good. Like I was never in any of those moments, I was never worried about whether or not I would be able to share this with someone. And I just thought, okay, this is what we're doing right here. And what are we, what's the protocol? Because everything came with protocols of, do this, don't do this. It's only going to last for this time span. And then we got to move on to the next stage. And then we're going to go over here and do this. So all these things was like all scheduled out for the course of time and day of whatever we were doing. So, you kept it moving, but you took it in for whatever it is you were doing, and just enjoy that this is a very monumental moment in my personal life, my personal journey. So I never thought about the cameras really too much ever, to be honest. If they were there, they were there. If they weren't,
so be it kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just didn't grow. I didn't grow up in the era that we're in now. You know what I mean? I grew up in the old school era where where you just had a moment to just breathe and to soak it in. And that was the era when you sat down and had dinner with your family and nobody was checking their phone every 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So I just grew up in that era of you're looking somebody in the eye and you're not distracted if you're there for 45 minutes, well, you got me for 45 minutes and we're talking eye to eye and we're going everywhere in the conversations, but we're not ever looking down at our hip or pocket to see what's, alarming us. Now our attention span is completely gone because of that. We don't remember anything. Remember those days when we could remember telephone numbers?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think everybody has two. It's like I remember my phone number as a kid, and I remember my phone number as a teenager in the two homes, the one in Fayetteville, 4610771. And you didn't give the area code because you didn't have to. And now you do.
So, Emmanuel, going to Clark, Atlanta, what was your first day on campus like?
Okay, so
about 100 autographs and about what?
That's my pictures. Thought exactly.
Yeah, it's like, I'm here to learn. Can we lay off?
It was a little embarrassing. I'm not even gonna lie. It was a little embarrassing. Yeah. First of all, I didn't know Clark existed at the moment. Okay. I didn't know much about Clark. I knew about Morehouse, but I didn't know about Clark. I didn't know anything about Spelman. I was a guy who was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and I was raised for the rest of my life in Los Angeles, California. I didn't know much about HBCUs. I didn't understand the significance. None of that was in the schooling systems in Brooklyn, New York. And they didn't talk about that in the elementary, middle, and high school. Didn't talk about any of that ever. Didn't talk about that. Now they do, but back then that wasn't part of the conversation. So when they said, okay, for your major that you're going to, you need to do that at Clark. And Morehouse is for this, and these other schools and is for that. So I'm like, okay, then we'll apply for and do that one. And so when I came to school the first day, my mom, this is like my mom's shining moment. You know what I mean? This is the dream that she always wanted for her kids, was to go to college. You know what I mean? So I'm living mom's dream right now. You know what I mean? I have no idea why my phone is going off right now.
This is a podcast. Can we please cut that off? I mean, seriously.
I know. I have it on airplane mode. Like for real. I'm wondering how does that get through?
I don't know. Somebody's got the line. Somebody wants you back.
Look. It's on airplane.
I said, yeah, you're right.
It is. Airplane mode.
And this is why people need to watch the YouTube and not just listen.
So look, how is anything coming through with airplane mode on? I don't even know if you can see that.
I don't know. You need to take that in.
You can see it.
What is that? A wallet phone? What is what kind of cover you got on that thing? Look at you.
Yes,
Oh, leather. Hello, leather. I've got some plastic case they sold me. You've got a leather wallet and a daily planner. Hello, Flip.
No, what happened is like, I don't want to drop it. You know what I mean? The thing
I hear you.
Ungodly expensive. So I'm always very careful and cautious as to not to drop it. Anyway, going to college was like, that was my mom's ultimate dream. And I wanted to go too, but I would have been happy with going to
USC or UCLA?
USC. That's where I was thinking that I was going to go, was USC.
I was going to say Juilliard.
Well,
no, I wasn't thinking Juilliard. I was thinking film school. Was what I was thinking of at the time. And my mom was like, and I had a scholarship at Howard in DC. And my mom gave away my scholarship. She
some kids like, yeah.
That's what I was told. So she said, give it to someone else that can afford it, that cannot afford it.
Cannot, which is the nice thing to do.
Right. And he's going to college, and she decided where I was going to go. And that's where I went. Yeah. And my brother had a disagreement about where he was going to go to college the year before, and it didn't go so well for him. So I just thought I would just fall in line. I don't even need the headache. You know what I mean?
No, I'm just going to do it. I saw what happened to you. That's not happening to me.
That's the best thing about having older siblings, yeah, it didn't go so well for him. So I'll just what time do we need to leave the house?
So you were saying about the HBCUs and everything. Actually, kind of a historical thing happened this week. And it's with one of your buddies who we've talked about as well, Deion Sanders at Jacksonville State, was able to flip the #1 recruit from Florida State to Jacksonville State. Do you think that's kind of going to change the entire game for HBCUs or just college football in general?
It's a lot more. We need a lot more HBCUs in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? And to me, what he's doing is nothing but beautiful, because you just want a fighting chance for everyone to be looked at. If all the scouts are going over there, then let this other school get a little look. You know what I mean? And so to me, that's what it's all about. You want some of the HBCUs to have some great talent and be able to be looked at and have their different players to be able to go on to the NFL and wherever else they're looking to do. So they're all getting their education, but at least give them a shot at, of having excellence at HBCUs and win championship like Coach Prime.
I know I could ask you questions all night, but I told you I did want to hit on this. Actually, I'm going to get in trouble for not hitting the one. I was told by my wife to ask you about Surreal Life and if you stay in touch with anybody from the cast.
I let me see, who do I speak to last? I spoke to, it's been a while since I spoke to Corey Feldman. And I think I sent a text to one of the girls, and I haven't seen Hammer in a while. I haven't seen Vanilla Ice since the show, but they were so special and so awesome. I loved, Gabrielle. I love, all these wonderful people that we got a chance. Vince was just, Vince is like, he's the hard rocker with the biggest heart. You know what I mean? So I really loved hanging out with them, but off the camera, even more. That's
cool. I know it changes a little bit when you're off camera. That was a good question. Tell your wife thank you for that one. I'm glad we covered Surreal Life. That's great.
Surreal Life was cool. They marketed us like we were trash, but I think, but we won our time slot. And so I think after that, they started to have to really rethink, like, why sell us short when you've got really good, people that can bring in, like, this is all what we did. We all did something that was pretty amazing, and we was able to put on a good show. So if we're going to give you a good show, why sell us down the river? And that was kind of their marketing scheme. That's not what they told us going into it. But, of
course not.
But at the end of the game, that's what they try to do. But it did very well. And, we did Howard Stern, which.
Yeah. I'm a different kind of radio personality than that guy.
I did not want to do it. I'm going to be flat out. I did not want to do it because I knew Howard Stern was going to do some crazy stuff. Like, I'm like, for real, do we really? Yeah, he's got a great show. It's #1. It's like he's going to do numbers and it's going to help her. They were telling the truth. They weren't lying. But I'm like, we really got to subject ourselves to it. I had everybody from the president, the vice president, even Hammer said, I'll go with you. And, I'm like, when you get all the boys calling you like that and all the gang and producers and everybody saying this is what we need to do, is like, okay.
Well, what people don't know about you is and that's what I try to tell the guys on the show I'm working on now. And it's kind of a new cast, mornings on Rock 100.5. And I'm like, you don't understand. I said, he is such, and the word's not innocent, but you're just a good person. Nobody's innocent. We all have our things.
100%.
Yeah. But in the world we now live in, you are the best of the best, the top of the top. I'm like, I might say one or two, but I don't even cuss around Emmanuel. I love what we have, and I love what kind of person you are. So people do look out for you because people recognize that, and they don't want people to take advantage of that because what you have is special.
That is exact. So Ham was there to protect me from whatever was about to go down, because he knew that it was about to be on.
Yeah.
And the moment we got on the show, they were doing some, I don't even want to say what it was. Y'all look at it on your own or whatever, but it was just bananas. And we walked in on some craziness. And I'm like, see? And I'm looking at Hammer like,
help me.
Yeah.
this is why I wasn't trying to do this, bro. But for the good of the show,
That's
we'll
it.
do it.
So my last question for you is Steph Curry. He broke the 3-point record this week, Madison Square Garden. Now, on top of breaking the record, he turned around and gave all his teammates personalized Rolexes. And then if you saw his post game, Spike Lee is laying on the floor behind him, taking pictures in a full orange, I don't know, suit, tuxedo,
Knicks.
something like
Knicks.
that.
He's wearing full Knicks, that designer. Yeah,
he's going after it. Now, have you ever worked with somebody that achieved something that instead of them getting the gifts, they gave everybody else the gifts? And have you ever dealt with Spike Lee?
No, I don't think I have, but I did get a chance to meet Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Iggy and Coach Kerr and Kevin Durant. So I got a chance to meet those guys, and it was just completely dope. I enjoyed every minute of it, and every second of it, and I just was so happy. Obviously, he's one of my favorite players. Right there next to Vince Carter and of course, AI, Allen Iverson. So those and MJ, those are the GOATs, and Kobe. Those are probably, some of my most favorite, as well as Magic, of course. I love them, but Steph he's ridiculous, and he's entertaining to watch. Some games, it's like, you're grinding and watching paint dry because it's just so technical. But when you click on to Golden State Warriors, and it's never like watching paint dry. Never. The shots that they're taking. Listen, the pre-show, I've never seen more people going to the game early just for the pre-show to watch Curry. I mean, his practice shots before and mid, like halftime and all of the stuff, it's just bananas. Even when the buzzer beats and, it's right after, he'll still throw some wild hook shot that nothing but net. I mean, like, oh my God, this guy is awesome. Like, it's like perfection in motion. So to answer your question, we did that a lot on Webster. So every year we would do something huge for our wrap of our season, and it's like somewhat industry standard to do something for the cast and crew. And so we would give out, I don't even have one on me, but I gave out medallions, gold medallions. When we did Webster, we did a party cruise. We gave out a whole lot of stuff. So we would do something for the whole cast and crew every year, where we gave out something to all of our, people who was on set and the people that was, producing it. So yeah, we did that. That's what you do. That's what winners do.
That's it. You take care of people. You take care of people that help you get to where you want to go.
Those people that take care of you 100%. So we did that. Yeah.
100%. Well, Brett, thank you very much. You didn't go after my buddy. I appreciate it. He could be ruthless. I think it's because you two spent about 30 minutes together waiting on me as I fell asleep in a Hot Wheels Corvette. Sorry. Manny's cool about it. Brett's been ragging me, but no, I just want to tell you that's what friends do. And both of you are friends of mine, and I appreciate you both. Manny, you're welcome anywhere I ever am, sitting right next to me. Anything I can ever do to help your career and what you're doing. The airways on Rock 100.5 as well as the Yeah Come On show are yours. You just got to call and ask, and you got it. So,
yeah, come on! I love it.
I love it. I'm gonna have to bring by and shove a Yeah Come On shirt in your mailbox. But
I need that.
Yeah, I gotta hook you up. So I'm gonna hook you up with some gear. You need some gear. I just want to thank you for being on the show. I want to thank you for being a friend of 25 years, and I look for 25 more. It'd be nice. I'd love that. So I'm always there for you. Thanks for not changing your phone number. I don't change mine either. I still got the same one from 95. There are real relationships in this world where people just are friends and don't use each other. And you've always been there for me. And I say thank you.
No problem, bro. It's always an honor to get a phone call from you. And I look forward to it. I look at him like, there's Steve. What's up?
Well, Emmanuel Lewis, I just want to say thank you for being on the Yeah Come On show. Again, thanks to all of our sponsors. Can I get a Yeah Come On?
Yeah, come on.
Can't get it enough. Thank you, brother.